Hey guys, it's Alicia. Today's video is another What's for Dinner on WW. My husband and I are on WW Green, but as always, I will have the points for not only the green plan, but the blue and purple plan as well. Down in the description box, I will also have links to the full videos of the things that I have shown before. And in those videos, you can find a list of ingredients, the instructions on how to make them, and the points. So if you want to check these recipes out a little further, as I said, I will have links to their complete videos down below. First up is baked chicken cordon bleu. And that just starts with 2 chicken breasts that I place between 2 pieces of parchment paper. And then I take a rolling pin since I don't have a mallet. And I just use that to kind of smash these chicken breasts down to about a 1/4 inch thickness. I usually don't get it quite to that, but that's what you're aiming for, is a 1/4 inch thickness with these. Next, I cut each breast in half, flip it over, and then add a little bit of salt to each one and some pepper. And then I add a light Swiss cheese slice to each one. And I just break that Swiss cheese in half and lay it on there. Next up is some prosciutto. I add a slice to each one, and then I roll them up. Next up, I dip them in some egg white and some breadcrumbs, and then I place them in a baking dish and spray them with a little nonstick cooking spray. I also like to line my pan with a little bit of foil for easy cleanup. So I then bake these until they reach an internal temperature of 165. And here is dinner tonight. Now, one of these is 6 points on green and 4 on blue and purple. We also, along with that, had a little side salad, and I just used this zesty Italian fat-free dressing, which is 0 points for a serving. So dinner tonight for us was only 6 points. Next up, we had steak and some Tex-Mex style baked beans. These beans are really easy. I'm starting off with a Dutch oven there that I'm pouring in some Great Northern beans, some fire roasted tomatoes, a little onion, fat-free chicken broth, strong brewed coffee, apple cider vinegar, brown sugar, dry mustard, some crushed red pepper. It just adds a nice little bit of heat to this. And then finally some black pepper. Stir it all together real well. Put the lid on it and bake it. And it is as easy as that. And these are really, really good. Here's what it looks like when it is done. My husband was in charge of the steak. This is New York strip. He just added a little salt and pepper to these and then grilled them. I also want to point out that we did trim the fat off of these. There is a significant difference between ones that have been trimmed of the fat and those that haven't as far as points go. So we definitely trimmed off as much fat as we could for these. And here is dinner. Now those beans, the video I did on them, the serving size was 1.5 cups, and that's a typical serving that I would do for those, but this time I only did half of that, which was 3/4 of a cup, since we had the steak and the peppers along with it. And so on green, that would be 5, and it would be just 2 on blue and purple. As for the steak, this again is New York strip steak, and it is 4 ounces that we've got, and that is gonna be 6 points on all 3 colors. We also had a little bit of sliced yellow and orange peppers, bell peppers, along with some dip that we love using, and that dip is just a onion soup mix packet mixed with fat-free Greek yogurt. And if you have just 1 ounce of that, it is 0 points. So altogether, our dinner for tonight was 11 points on green and just 8 on blue and purple. Next up is one of my old favorites, and that is this taco soup. It is so easy to throw together, but it tastes really, really good. And along with that, we also had some cornbread muffins, which are also really good. So as I said, this soup is extremely simple. It's about as easy as it gets, really. You are gonna start with a large pot, And to that, I add just a little bit of the chicken broth I'm going to be using here in a bit, and cook my onions in that. That way, the onions are less likely to stick to the pan, even though I'm using a non-stick pan. That little bit of chicken broth just helps them cook a little better. So I'm going to cook my onions in that broth until they are starting to soften. Next, I'm going to dump in my remaining chicken broth, and then I'm going to just dump in the rest of my ingredients. And this time, I did not drain my beans that I'm showing here, the kidney beans and the Great Northern beans. I just dumped the whole thing in. Sometimes I drain them, sometimes I don't, as well as my black beans too. I didn't drain those either. And you definitely can, but as I said, I did not this time. So there's a can of corn, and then there's 2 cans of diced tomatoes, a can of fat-free refried beans, and a little bit of taco seasoning. Then you're just gonna cook this on a medium heat for about 20-30 minutes, or until those refried beans are completely dissolved in there and the soup is heated all the way through. And here is dinner tonight. Now that taco soup makes about 18 1-cup servings. A serving of that is 3 points on the green and 0 on the blue and purple. Now here we are having actually 2 servings or 2 cups of that. So it's gonna be 6 points on green and 0 on blue and purple. We're also, along with it, having some of these cornbread muffins. These are 3 points apiece on green and 2 points apiece on blue and purple. We're having 2. So ours are gonna be, on the green plan, 5 points for 2 and just 4 points for 2 on blue and purple. Also in the taco soup, we are having a little bit of Greek yogurt. That's just a couple tablespoons, fat-free Greek yogurt. And so that's not going to carry any extra points. So our dinner total tonight on green is going to be 11 points. And on blue and purple, this would only be 4 points, because the only points in this are on those cornbread muffins. This would be a really low point dinner if you're on blue and purple. But even at 11 points on the green, it's still very, very satisfying. I love this soup. It's very filling. And as I said, it's just so easy to make. So it's one that I make quite a bit. If anybody wants to see how I make these cornbread muffins, let me know and I will do a separate video on those. They are really good. And that is what we had for dinner on WW Green this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and maybe it gave you some ideas. And as always, I thank you so much for watching and I will see you on the next one.